You would think with all the wisdom and knowledge that spiritualists and philosophers have, that we'd be in a utopia by now. But right now, we're in a world led by people that are using the illusion of religion to get people to follow their agenda and all sorts of different things under the name of some type of power or divinity or behind a mask of morality. And it's very ego based, and that's what's winning. Oftentimes, like, you see spiritual people maybe not wanting to be an ego, but your soul is also going to have a trajectory, right? The ego helps with the desire piece to connect you to your soul, and people like to have debates on things like that, and that's the problem. We get, you should understand what the person is trying to say, right? Like, because at a certain point, words in spiritual philosophy sort of exist to like explain concepts at this like subtler level, but there's a little bit of that interpretation that's in there. The point is, getting lost in there prevents us from leading up over here. I want us to think about industries that can be revolutionized as a result of knowing that consciousness is fundamental. So, right now, I can think of two: education and healthcare. I'm thinking like different types of institutions, different types of research being conducted, because we still see consciousness as an emergent property of the mind. We also see nothing else as conscious. We don't feel that sense of unity, consciousness, and connection. So how we teach people things is from a hyper individualistic level. We should think from an individualistic level. I mean, even in spirituality, there's the concept of going into like your hermit mode, going into shunya or the void. And that's where you get to meet yourself, not as how everybody else sees your self concept, but as the cosmos see you, as the divine sees you, right? So those things are important, and there's like different ways we can go about teaching people this stuff. This also was semi inspired by a really close friend I have out here where I live, and she was bringing up something about her spiritual group and club and things that needed to be called out. And it just made me think too, like, if everything is spiritual, why do we have specific groups for this stuff? Like, bear with me because I feel like this part is a little hard for me to word and explain, but I feel like you get my vibe. Like, spirituality is everywhere. Whether you choose to acknowledge it or not doesn't affect the fact that it's there and it's in operation all the time. And I understand if people look at it from maybe a faith-based perspective, but this is where I'm going to go to the next level of challenging it, right? Because it's not about faith. There is a component of faith involved in how we go about our lives that we all ought to have more of, because forcing things down our throats to be perfectly experimentally verifiable helps keep people in a line of obedience, right? Rather than kind of working with their own intuition. Anyway, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent. But the point is, it's it's kind of like when groups get together that are spiritual, I guess they're working on their breath work and yoga and like, maybe having discussions. So even then, like, that spirituality is a consciousness expansion tactic. And it would go under the category of wellness, Um, but like, that exists everywhere. And like, the way if you have an issue with a group being spiritual and there's a lot of, love and light kind of bullshit that you'll see. Well, I mean, the thing is, if it's everywhere, your best bet will be to find interests that you have that manifest from your expansive journey from being spiritual and coming back, because that's kind of how spirituality, to me at least, feels. It feels like a big trip you go on, but completely sober for a little bit, and then you come back and like reintegrate. And the question we have to ask ourselves is, as a result of this, what will we be doing? Anyways, there's many issues in the world that we can solve. And I think that mindset, the way we're programmed to stay broke in society while the elite slash parasites are all the way at the top, splitting the consciousness profits based off of our division, based off of how we have built our political systems. I mean, we should really look to overturning that, right? Taking the power back within us. And that requires taking action on spirituality. It's completely honorable, and I respect it, wanting to take care of yourself first, because we should all put our own oxygen mask on first. but then nothing happens as a result of that, and then people just complain about the world having problems. And also, like, it's an infinite reality. The world has many problems, but at the same time, there's a lot of wonderful things happening in this world too. And if you think the world has many problems, do you ever think about how we even got here? It was through, well, someone worded it in the comments as cosmic indifference. Okay, so we all play a role in all of this, and as long as we wake up and have another day, it is my belief that we have a new opportunity to follow our dreams and try something new. Like, we can't say that the world should or should not be this way if we keep maintaining the opposite of that. If there's even a fighting chance, we could undo that. And that's more at the individual level. That's not something I care to get into. That's for every individual to figure out for themselves. But I do want to open up this discussion to talk about what it would look like in society, all the industries that would be shifted and changed. What projects could we work on as a collective? What are technologies we could see developed based on this stuff? Like, I hear a lot about like lost technology, right? Like starting to come back. Like, there's a remembrance, there's a big awakening happening. So based on this knowledge of spirituality being that very complex science that will now be soon be the new, because a lot of people are waking up. Like, I can't be the only one seeing this. Like, this is happening at a global scale. Okay. And this is how, like, the people in power, people who do bad things, they're few in numbers, right? They're just well connected in all sorts of places. You don't want to, it's like they've intelligently like set up traps, okay? But there's 8 billion people on the planet. So what does that mean? People are upholding the values of the matrix. They're consenting to it, right? If you're not actively like pushing against it with your own actions, that's the difference too. The revolution will not be televised because it's happening from within. That's all I have to say. Let me know in the comments what people think could be changed about our reality and how we can work more towards having a utopia based on our deep wisdom and understanding, because it's time to get to work. It's time to change things. We have all the knowledge, we have all the tools. Now we just need to believe in ourselves and love ourselves enough to know that our creations are valuable and will positively impact society.